But I've realized that social media has a time-consuming effect, a big distraction, and how it is a huge problem. I believe that social media has good and bad parts, but I feel like social media has a negative effect. Social media can affect people emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Why do we have to abuse this medium known as the internet to connect with each other for the good of evil, for bullying? How can we stop this? Why do we continue to let this happen? Cyberbullying is a problem now because teenagers think that it is a way to let their anger out without having to worry how it affects the person on the other side of the computer screen. There are consequences that cyberbullies are not taking into consideration and how it will affect the victims, which are having anxiety, fear, shame, and other serious mental health problems.
Our society has unconsciously developed a shockingly negative attitude towards those who suffer from depression. Some people think it's all in people's heads and they're just sad. But in reality, according to the Tech Online edition, depression is actually a serious brain disease. Additionally, according to the same source, it is estimated that 17% of the US population will be subject to at least one major depressive episode in their lifetime.
Millions of lives daily are already disrupted by global warming, which causes bad weather patterns and loss of habitat. Disasters such as heat waves, floods, droughts, and storm surges are already impacting us heavily. However, it is our children and grandchildren who may suffer the most from the effects of global warming. Millions of people may be exposed to famine, water shortages, extreme weather conditions, and a 20 to 30% loss of animal and plant species if we do not reduce the rate of global warming and greenhouse gas.
Bullying is a very, very dangerous action, and we should stop it because it can lead to depression. There are many people in pain every day, and as good citizens, many people want to help them and make the world a better place. But how come some people just stand in shock and do nothing when they see someone being bullied? I know we all don't want to be involved in bullying because of fear of being victims to bullying. But the moment we witness bullying, we are already involved in it. According to 2010 through 2011 School Crime Supplement, 28% of students in grades 6 to 12 have experienced bullying.
What were you wearing? Were you drinking? Can you blame him? These statements perfectly define rape culture. But what is rape culture? It is the shape that society has taken around the stamp that rape has left on this world. Rape is a touchy subject. Not many people want to talk about it because of how and why it happens. But when 1 out of 3 women are affected by sexual assault, we cannot brush off 1/3 of our hardworking women who do not deserve the awful violence that they have encountered. Throughout history, women have been told what they can or cannot do. But when women began to gain rights, our male counterparts began to get mad.
About a year and a half ago, Eastside Catholic let go beloved vice principal after learning he was married to a man. Mark Zamuda stated that he applied to Eastside Catholic after he read on the school's website that it did not discriminate on the basis of race, religion, marital status, or sexual orientation. I strongly believe that human rights belong to everyone so they get treated with dignity no matter what their circumstances are.
We must run counter to the Christian spirit we are supposed to emulate. Even the Pope is on our side. Pope Francis recently said, "On my list of all the evils haunting the world, Kennedy Catholic not being in Metro League is at the top." With that kind of support, how can we be wrong? We should also be in Metro League because there are no good reasons to keep us out. Metro League officials want us to stay where we are because of tradition. Since we originated in Seamount, that's where we belong. In addition, they say there's no room for us and that it's too complicated. Let me translate. They're scared.
As students, this may not be a priority now, but politics, whether we know it or not, play a huge role in our lives today, and its manipulation is essentially a manipulation of our lives. To illustrate the power of lobbyists, in 2014, oil and gas companies spent $140 million in lobbying, according to data gathered by the Center for Responsive Politics. In contrast, educational organizations spend about $80 million. This means about 75% more money was spent essentially bribing candidates to fulfill the desires of oil companies than that of educational ones.